Okay, so it's finally here, and does it live up to the hype? You know what I'm talking about. It's Spider-Man No Way Home, and this is my spoiler-free review. As always, I'm Al, this is the Geek in Review, and let's get looking at probably one of the most anticipated films of the last year, because 2020 didn't really count. Okay, yeah, so as I said, this is spoiler free, so I'm not going to be going down too many alleyways. I'm only going to be discussing things that you've seen in the trailers, so you're perfectly safe. And please don't post any spoiler comments below. If you do, please type out spoilers in capital letters to avoid it. Same on social media as well, it's only just polite. So does this film live up to the trailer hype? Well, yeah, but there's so much more to that. This film is a completely full meal. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of the last Spider-Man film, and I think the reason for that is I didn't really feel like Peter was, it was a personal story for Peter. He was just sort of along for the ride, rather than the events of the first film. That felt a lot more personal, like him and his friends and his Aunt May and things like that. And this film does go a little bit deep on things like that. It does go deep on the old emotions, and Tom Holland's Peter Parker handles it really well. After getting his identity revealed and everything kicks off, you feel the weight of what Peter's going through, which leads him to Doctor Strange. We're getting a little bit more depth from Peter, or Tom Holland's Peter, that we've seen before, and maybe going down the road we're going to get a deeper, darker Peter. Now, I'm not talking Bruce Wayne dark here, I'm just talking about a bit more of an adult Spider-Man, having to deal with a bit more different types of situations and facing the consequences of some of the choices that he's made and some of the choices that he hasn't made. And Peter does have to deal with a lot in this film, and I don't just mean the villains, but I'll get to that in a second. Now, although I said this film is a bit of a deep emotional dive into Spider-Man, the humour's still there too. And one thing I wouldn't say that lets the film down, it was something that I thought was a little bit pernickety, was the humour does seem a little bit out of place with the film, like sometimes with the tone of the film and then the pace of the story, or that point in the story of the film as well. But it's all good. I mean, this cast's been together quite a while now, they all banter together, everyone knows what's going on with Zendaya and Tom Holland, so the chemistry is there on screen. And I think that's what the last film was missing. You didn't really get any sort of deep relationships with Spider-Man. I mean, yeah, he was sort of going after MJ, but the sort of buddy friendship that him and Ned had wasn't really in the second one, because Ned had a girlfriend, so the dynamic is back, although you don't get it as often as you'd think in this film, but I didn't care, I was just glad to see it. But going on to the villains, they were all pretty good without feeling too fan-servicey, or without the film being overstuffed like Spider-Man 3 or The Amazing Spider-Man 2. They kind of all get their chance to shine, especially Electro, because he lights up, hey! And they feel natural in the film. Like I say, they don't feel forced in either. Although I have to be honest, I thought it was just going to be the trailer, but some of the de-aging effects on Doc Ock didn't look too great to me on the big screen. There's some other stuff as well, you know about the sort of different outfits that the Green Goblin's going to have and the one that Electro's got. And yeah, everything else with regards to the villains are pretty solid, including their motivations. But there's a lot more going on here, and it is really well paced, and it doesn't really feel like there's any lulls in the film, or it doesn't feel too long either. I'm definitely going to go and try and see it again, because this one is going to need more than one watch to take everything in. If you haven't seen the film already, I would recommend checking out my rumour roundup video that I posted last night before I went to see the film. And yeah, I'm not saying what I was right on, I'm not saying what I was wrong on, but there's definitely some stuff in there, absolutely. You'll need to watch Spider-Man and then watch the rumour video, or watch the rumour video and then watch Spider-Man, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, the post-credit scene in this is huge, but it doesn't overshadow the rest of the film. It doesn't really feel like that one in the Eternals where, Harry Styles showed up and that was kind of the most exciting part of that film. Although this post-credit scene is letting us know exactly what's going to happen next. And it makes me wonder what they're not going to show us in Doctor Strange 2 if this is what we're getting so early on, because they are doing extensive reshoots on that film at the moment. Now, if you have been following some of the big spoilers, there is still more in this film, but if, like me, you've read up most of them, you'll sort of know what to expect, but it's all done in the execution. But what matters now is that we're firmly into the multiverse, and it's about to get crazier. I've got some theories on Doctor Strange 2 after what I've seen, and I'll be doing a video on that later in the week. And also, one about the importance of post-credit scenes in the MCU films and how that's kind of changed over the years. I'm also going to be doing a wrap-up of Hawkeye. Rather than doing the individual episodes, I'm just going to do what I'm watching this week and drop that all in together. But have you seen this film? As always, let me know what you think in the comments below, or you can follow me on Twitter at The Geeks Reviews. My name's Al. As always, thanks for watching, and please subscribe to the channel, it would mean a lot.